So hello and welcome to the Happiness Telesummit. My name is Erica Glessing and I'm the host. I'm joined today by a very beautiful and talented young woman named Cherie Lawrence. Welcome, Cherie.
Hi, thank you for having me.
At the moment, Cherie is an almost published author, and it's very possible by the time you're seeing this that this book will look more like this book and be in hands. And she wrote a beautiful, beautiful chapter on all kinds of cool subjects, and I'm going to let her tell you a little bit more about that. So Cherie is an energy virtuoso, and she shifts realities. She creates instant change in people's lives. She's spent more than 1,500 hours in personal development and self-transformation. You know, one of the things I love about Cherie also is she has a connectivity with the extraterrestrial. And so one of our early conversations was about what's possible when you allow that energy into your lives to be a contribution in your life. So I just love that about you, and I love you, of course. So welcome, Cherie.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, you know, we were talking earlier a little bit about magic, and I think what happens so often, and certainly I'm in my 50s, and I know like age is just a number, and you tell me that all the time, but
Yeah.
how do I keep believing in magic when I get kind of like over time scarred by all of life's crap? And oh my gosh, I was looking at a picture of my biological family this morning, and I'm like, there are not three people that were meaner to me in the world.
Oh.
Like, they were the people that were the meanest to me in my entire life. And luckily, like, one or two of them's dead right now. I know, I'm so irreverent. So tell me a little bit about this magic and how, kind of, just give me some insight into that.
Well, it kind of ties into my book, my chapter in the book, which is about opening the secret spaces inside of your mind. A lot of people, they dream and wish that a more magical life was possible, and in reality they may have already experienced magic on levels that their mind actually can't handle. So inside the book, in my chapter, I share with you an activation for opening these secret spaces in your mind. So as an example, if you've had an experience that is outside of your comfort zone, what your mom taught you is possible, what science fiction and what our reality teaches you is possible, then your mind goes into this protection space and blocks off that experience from you. So there could be several magical experiences in your mind that your mind didn't think you were able to handle, and closed off those memories and thoughts from your conscious awareness. And inside Go ahead.
You know, as soon as you said that, the memory that showed up, I was in college, and I'd given a poem to someone who'd inspired me. I'd written a poem for him. He was a visiting author, and his name was B.F. Mays. And I wrote, he's passed on now too, but I wrote a poem for him and just gave it to him. And I think it was like Power Speaks Through You to me or something. And it was really interesting. A couple months went by, and I get this phone call. And I remember myself sitting in this apartment I lived in with two girls, and I pick up the phone, and he's like, "This is B.F. Mays." And I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "Can I publish your poem on the jacket of my book?"
Wow.
And as soon as you said, "What have you forgotten?" that memory came flooding back in, and I just went into the cement walkways at UC Davis down the back parking lot. I did about 30 cartwheels.
Oh.
I did.
That is magic, isn't it? That's awesome.
I don't even know where that memory was, right?
Yeah. In fact, the memories that would be stored there are so mind-blowing. Like, you're just like, how could I even have forgotten that? Those are the type of memories that are hidden and stored in there. And in fact, I can like allow a little bit of remembering to happen right now, if that works for you, Erica, and for your listeners. I can kind of open the doorway a little bit and let a little bit start seeping out.
Sure.
Okay, so that's happening right now if you would like to receive that. And we can keep talking and it will keep happening, and if you don't want it, it's going to ignore you, and if you do, then it's going to start opening up your mind, that hidden space, just a little bit.
Wow. So tell me a little bit about that. I'm just really drawn to the topic of magic. So tell us a little bit more about that, how maybe you could talk about reality. And it's funny with Cherie because not every single one of my guests is also a dear friend. And so she's someone that I've had these conversations with. And maybe if you don't mind sharing some of that, different realities and different, just kind of give us an insight into how that can be possible.
Okay, well, I have a funny story. So reality is not solid. Whatever your current life experience is right now, it is not solid, and it is not stuck, and it is totally malleable and totally changeable. There was this morning where my daughter was running late for the bus, and I was like, no, this is not going to work. She's going to catch that bus. So I demanded that, however it happens, that her bus give us like 15 more minutes. Just 15 more minutes is all I needed. So like I get her ready, the 15 minutes passes, and I'm like, cool, the bus is going to come. She goes out, and the bus does not actually show up, and luckily there were other kids there. So one of the parents calls the school, and they're like, the bus, well, give us a minute, we'll call the bus driver. The bus driver said that the bus did come to that stop. And no, actually the bus didn't, and the bus driver wasn't a liar. So I somehow created a reality where the bus didn't come, yet the bus driver said that he did come, but all of the children were still there at the bus stop, and he had no reason to make that lie up. So the school sent a new bus to come and pick up the children, and it was just this huge mystery as to how this happened. So I totally try to live a life of magic and knowing that anything is possible, and that reality is totally malleable, and you can just really have fun playing with it.
I think in the chapter you do talk, you actually use the word decompartmentalization.
Yes.
And I think you were just kind of doing that with me a little bit around my poetry memory. Can you just go into a little bit of that more in depth, explain kind of what that is and how the information of that concept works and plays in your life?
Okay, so decompartmentalization is when your mind, your subconscious mind, separates information that it thinks that you cannot consciously be aware of because it will conflict with thoughts, feelings, emotions, things that you've learned otherwise that aren't true or possible. So we are familiar with decompartmentalization when it comes to a traumatic event. So if little Johnny experiences a terrible traumatic event, his subconscious mind will create kind of this barrier to that particular memory, and that's when he has like amnesia about that particular event. So that's decompartmentalization. However, it also plays in our everyday lives in magical events and situations, decompartmentalizing, because your brain takes in the information about what is real, what's possible, what your mom said, what your teacher said, what you see on TV. So it holds magical events. Let me give you an example. If you had an experience with your friends in the field in an extraterrestrial cave and visited you and took you guys on the ship and you got put back down and your brain could not handle it, your subconscious mind thinks that you can't handle it, you won't remember it. You just plain won't remember it unless you begin the process of decompartmentalization, which is consciously choosing to have the awareness that this takes place, the decompartmentalization, and then, compartmentalization, and then allowing those memories to unfold at a rate that is comfortable for you. So, I mean, I had a session with someone once, and she actually remembered that extraterrestrials used to visit her in her bedroom and stand at the foot of her bed. And she's like, how could I have forgotten something like this? So the memories in there are magical, mind-blowing, and if you begin the decompartmentalization process, which there is an activation in my chapter, who knows what kind of magical life you'll be able to experience from this point forward. Yes!
So I wanted to talk a little bit about this. I'm really having fun with the ET stuff. Do you mind if we play with that a little bit more? Is that okay with you?
Let's go.
Okay, because I know that's kind of like not exactly what you were thinking I'd interview you about. But I have the awareness of all the interviews I've done for the whole summit, and I have not been able to really do this topic at all, so I would love this topic in the Happiness Telesummit, if you'd be so kind as to be the expert on this for us.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Do I have a choice with your smile?
We always have a choice. You can be like, you know what? I want to talk about something else. It's funny. There is one author, and I would sort of gently try to work with her, and she kept going back to her script, and she was doing something she'd done before, and it was a very interesting experience. And I just went with the flow. Like I'm like, okay, whatever. Given the opportunity, what I do, as you know, is I tune into the questions that I believe, I feel, and I sense are coming from the audience. So I have that a fabulous knowingness of questions, and I let them come from future listeners. So I'm tuning in to those individuals who are drawn to your presence, and I'm tuning into what it is that if you could share with them would just rock their world forever. Okay? Because we can actually do that in this environment. We're inviting people to the space of really suspending the belief of any reality as they know it. One of the conversations I had yesterday with an author was on her own reality, trusting that it is completely different from anyone else's reality. And one time you walked me through an exercise where what we were doing was letting ourselves be supported by other planets. So do you want to explain that, and then go ahead and guinea pig me with it, and then I invite people who are listening to let the exercise nourish you. So if you can be in kind of a quiet place and a place of sacred sort of expansion. Does that sound okay? Do you want to lead us through that?
Yes. Okay, so during that conversation, you were having a little bit of difficulty with technology, and I was sharing with you what a contribution technology can be to you, because technology has consciousness and is alive and is so excited to help you. And then I went into the space of asking what else, who else wants to be a contribution to you, and some planet that resembles Saturn popped up and was like, I do, I want to be a contribution, and the Earth was like, me too. And so that planet sent this grid system to the Earth and down into a grid system of the Earth and into you, Erica, and started streaming into you information, knowledge, expansive mind capabilities, and greater awareness than you had previously had before. So if you or any of the listeners would like to receive contribution from anything here that wants to participate, just you can say yes and start breathing in deeply through your nose and out through your mouth, and I will begin to remove the barriers, if you would like, that don't allow you to receive the magic and possibilities that are here in this moment and from all of the life and consciousness that is all around us at all times, and see what wants to come and play. This would be individualized for every person, so that planet that came for Erica may not come for everyone else, but you could have your complete own solar system that is just like so excited to play with you. So I am removing the barriers and the space and the walls and the beliefs that don't allow you to receive the contribution that everything is and the magical reality that is available for you. Okay, the Earth grid system that I talked about is now popped up for everybody. It is kind of like this neon blue color, and it is now streaming through this Hangout and into everyone who would like to receive the contribution from the Earth and this energetic information system, which will upgrade your body to be more able to receive the light that is coming through this Earth right now. And a new line of planetary bodies have just shown up, and they want to participate and share with everyone what they know. Looks like 8. They come from the same system. I don't know where that is. Okay, they are now tapped into that grid system of the Earth. You may be feeling a little bit spacey in the head right now, and that is okay. You may feel a little tingly in your body. Just keep breathing, slow breaths. So it is the same. More knowledge and more expanded capacities, and whatever your gifts are being expanded by this energetic flow. And also, since I have you all here, everything wants me to let you know that it is also a contribution to your life. So in the room that I'm sitting in, everything is vibrating and alive and conscious and wants to contribute, and it's the same in your room. The room that you're in right now, everything is there, wants to be a contribution to you in whatever way you're willing to receive. So the magic is all around all of us all the time. It's just, are you willing to look at it and be aware of what the possibilities are? And if you do have that awareness realization, can you keep it without having your mind compartmentalizing it? So that is an aspect of my cosmic attunement program also.
Beautiful. One thing, and we're going to let people know how they can work with Cherie more before this interview's over. We're going to invite you to a very special program that she built just for you and with you in mind. So how fun is that? One of the questions I had for you, one of the things that I feel like you do, and I'm going to explain it for people who don't do any of the access work that I've been treated to the last few months, and there's this kind of awareness that when you focus on what isn't working and you really, really get into what isn't working, that you're actually sort of crystallizing a reality that you don't even like. And so as you invite in a new reality, then everything can change and everything can shift. And as she was describing earlier, reality isn't what we're thinking it was anyways. let me ask you, for those people that are in that space of having challenges, being able to see a new reality or open up to new realities, what can you share as an insight that would bring light into that space of that?
Well, for most people, it feels like something that happened in your childhood, whereas you maybe were magical and you were into possibilities, and maybe you were kind of shut down by an adult figure in your life. Maybe you were too loud, maybe you were too energetic, maybe. I mean, the possibilities are endless, and that's something that happens to children in our reality. Is they continually get shut down, shut down, shut down. You're too loud, stop jumping, stop doing this, stop being a kid, stop having fun. And that shuts down your ability, out of survival, to the possibilities that exist for a different life and a different reality. So for me, I believe that most of that lack of openness to the possibilities stems in childhood.
So let me ask you this. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the program that you've created for everyone and the magic of that and the magic promise of that?
Okay, so right now what is coming through me and is kind of like being gently shouted, if you will, at me from a million directions by all of the life that exists, is that everything wants everyone to know that it is here and that it is alive, and it can be a contribution to your life. So I created a program, a series called Cosmic Attunement. Everything has consciousness, attune to it. That's the motto. And it is about getting you to that point of having the awareness of the life and consciousness that everything has. The chair that you're sitting on, and even your hair. And that one, I just got that hair has consciousness. It was quite an adventure. So one of the things is, people could be like, well, how can I have this awareness and this consciousness and experience this magicalness that is in everything? There are a lot of things that could get in your way, a lot of blocks. And some of those things are fear of the unknown, fear of what others would think, fear of being different, fear of who you would be if you had such a magical reality. Another one would be points of view that you already know all that there is to know, that inanimate objects are not living, not capable of life, as Webster's dictionary says, and that it is impossible. Third thing that I found are choices. So choosing to not look beyond what you've learned, choosing to not peek beyond that veil of what you've learned. So I created my program to cover 6 key areas that would prevent someone from having the awareness of conscious life around us.
Awesome. Awesome. You're not going to go through all 6. We don't have time. But I'm going to share this information with everyone. So we're going to have this information right here on the screen, okay? So everyone can tune in and check out everything that's in your beautiful package. So I feel like you have kind of blasted me off the stratosphere, so I'm feeling really full with the interview. And what I'm going to ask you to do, kind of as we come to a close, and everyone get her package. It's just so much fun. I love working with Cherie. I love her work. She is a gift to the planet. She's just pure magic. If nothing else, you get to hear her beautiful voice. I mean, life would be so much worse than waking up to that beautiful voice. Anyhow, I like guys, but anyways. If I like girls, it'd be my type. So let's do this. Why don't you send us off with kind of a prayer or an awareness that we could take into our day or our next day?
Okay, so I have a question that you could ask of yourself repeatedly, and it is, what can you be or do different today that would allow you to access the consciousness of life right away? So that question just opens up the possibilities, and I mean, it's like right away. And it actually, I felt fear come up in some people at the feeling of that, because it's like, now I might feel it. And so, yeah, my package would totally get rid of all that fear and allow you to create the foundation to receive the consciousness that is in the cosmos. So what can you be or do different today to experience all of the consciousness in the cosmos right away? Just, you can ask over and over and over and allow that.
I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming to my Telesummit. That was beautiful. Thank you.